and under 50 meters squared and no balcony and 650 price guide, and it goes nuts and sells for 740. How does this happen? Freshwater unit, tail of the sale. We're going to tell you about it this morning. Stay tuned. Billy, you've broken the law, Billy. It's gone 10% more.
I know. Out of nowhere. This was a really interesting campaign, but a significant sale for Freshwater and a significant sale for the under 50 square meter community for the Northern Beaches.
You've even had lots of brokers actually sending you messages about this. Brokers and valuers.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I've got a bit of a share screen for you this morning so you can see what we're talking about. This is a property we sold over the weekend in Freshwater. And I'll be able to blow this photo.
Give me a Control Plus. Oh, that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So front of the block. Yeah, built in 1967.
Yes.
So block of 8, all double brick, only 2 stories, 4 all 1-bedroom apartments, but 4 on the ground floor, 4 upstairs. You can see the one on the top right corner had a balcony, but the ground floor ones don't. So they're 46.
Freshwater.
Say again?
Great. Freshwater, great suburb.
Yeah, it's probably towards the top of everyone's shopping list. When you say Freshwater, you've already got people's interest.
Yeah, and Wayne Street, like the farthest extreme in Freshwater from the beach.
Yeah, so this is I guess 1 street back or 2 streets back from Pittwater Road, but that's offers good convenience, to access out to Manly, and you're on the train, you're on the bus links there as well. Sorry.
So, Billy, for people that don't know, agents generally have to, want to be guiding in their ranges within 10%. And we try like hell to make sure we're not being false, misleading, and deceptive in our guiding of price. So fair trading sort of to us, but sometimes just on those slim chances, sometimes it just goes bananas and it goes for more than the 10%, and we've got to justify how that happened. Billy, how did that happen?
Well, there was a strong negotiation that resulted in the final sale price. But when buyers were coming through, the way that guide was sort of justified, and the way we sort of presented that to the owner was there was another sale for one of the ground floor 1-bedrooms in the building February last year, 2024, and that's sold for $700,000. Had a slightly more renovated kitchen, and it also faced the back of the block, so a different outlook, because across the road on Wayne Street, this looked out towards the back of a primary school. And then across the road from the primary school, you've got the industrial area. So that 650 to 700 range was where we sort of felt most of the buyer feedback was coming in. And to be honest, it sort of was. The property was only on the market for 9 days. And through those 9 days, there was about five open homes, 5 buyer appointments. We had about 50 odd people call us up, speak with us on the phone. And then that sort of translated to about half of those couples coming in to have a look at the property. So that was about 25, 30 groups through the open homes.
Wow.
In those 9 days. And it resulted in 3 offers. 3 offers on a Wednesday afternoon where they were all coming in at a similar level. And we said to the owner, if it's getting towards an unacceptable level, we would like to go back to the purchasers with your instructions. And he said, what would that look like? And so we gave him a couple of options, and he decided to end on the instruction of go back to these offer makers with a date and a time for their best and final offers, and then we'll make a decision. So that's exactly what we did.
And there was even a little bit of inter-office rivalry between salespeople.
Yeah, I mean, there was another rep in our team that had a really good buyer, and they just missed out on a property in Oaks Avenue, DY, that we sold for $660,000 just a few days before. And so when we listed this one in Freshwater, he called her straight away and said, come and have a look at this. I know you've just missed out on the last one, but this will be, just as good for you.
And there was my buyer as well. So there's,
Yeah,
I do have to stress, and something that works beautifully with what we do, which people don't do in other offices on the Northern Beaches, which helps us get better prices, is like today, Monday morning at 10 o'clock, we will all go through each other's properties, and then we will all introduce our buyers to each other's sellers, and that creates even more competition for the vendor. That the vendor can leverage off, the seller can leverage off, the seller can get a better price when we can actually do that, and that doesn't happen in other offices. So I think that helps. It helps you be a better agent. And as a seller, sellers love it because it's not costing them any more.
yeah, absolutely. And you, as a sales team, you've got 10x on the output of work compared to what you get normally. So it's a real win-win. It really is.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Well, think about just how many hours someone has in their day. One person can only make so many phone calls, only talk to
Yeah.
so many buyers.
Yeah.
10x that. You've got 10 times the amount of output volume, like manpower,
That's it.
woman power. It's strong. Like it's a big point of difference, and then you can feel that through your negotiation. So yeah, it ended up with 3 buyers on a Wednesday afternoon. There was one buyer that obviously put themselves in a position where they separated themselves from the other offers, and they were really happy. Now, when we spoke with them on the phone, that they see the potential in the property. They see it going a whole lot further
First
in
home
growth.
buyer,
Investor.
investor. Huh.
Yep.
Okay,
Um,
great.
yeah,
Investors
and
are
so
coming back. I haven't seen
they
investors around for a while.
yeah, I mean, this is a good apartment where it doesn't need too much work, but equally, if you just do a little bit, you'll find you'll probably make an extra $50-$70 a week on your rent, with probably only spending a couple of thousand, just doing lights, ceiling fans, just small bits like that.
Now, Billy, something I wanted to also point out is it was a vacant property. Can you show me the internal photos?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So, guys and girls, if you've got the property not being presented well by a tenant, or if you have a property that is vacant, I love what you did with the car space there, how you highlighted where it was. That's digitally done.
Yeah, that's
Clever.
right. Just gives people an idea.
Um,
That car space, just so you know, guys, that was actually just an exclusive use car space, so it doesn't get counted in the overall square meters of the property.
Okay, I want to talk about that in a sec as well. Great. Now, I love your floor plan. Most agents are not doing that with floor plans. They're not giving all of the great information about the property in the floor plan, i.e., furniture and the sizes and stuff like that. And then, second to that, I love your
Inter-
internal photos. So, all that's virtual furniture. So, this was a vacant property, and we digitally inserted the furniture for free for the
yeah,
owner. If agents do that, very rare, they'll charge a couple of hundred per photo. We do all that at no charge. The prints on the wall, the television with something on it. Like, you've really pushed and pushed with your marketing there. I think that's a really good. It's a good reflection on. It's a good reflection on a great agent. Now, can you tell me about how did you get around the 50 meters squared? Because half the banks out there are not fans of under 50 meters squared.
yeah. We were lucky in this case. The purchaser, was in a fortunate position where they weren't requiring that specific lending. So I tend to find the under 50 square meters becomes not problematic, but sometimes just an extra hurdle with first home buyers. The banks
Yes.
are looking at that as a slightly higher risk category, but there are lenders that do service service those properties. So the way to work around it, if you ever do sort of come up against a bit of a hurdle, is really sit down with your broker and work out you sort of ahead of time who is going to be the person doing the lending, and
Yes.
then what can you sort of provide them to help them justify the value. Fortunately, great sales like this help the under 50 square meter category. Whether you're in Freshwater or not in Freshwater, it will be there as a sold listing. Banks won't be able to use this until it's settled, but this is a fairly short settlement. But in the coming month, this will go down as a settled property, and it's selling at just under $16,000 a square meter. That's the same price we're selling brand new off the plan apartments in beachside suburbs like DY, right across the northern beaches. To be fair, $16,000 a square meter is a premium rate for a residential apartment on the northern beaches, and that's what you're achieving.
Before we go, how did you sell it that quickly? Because normally there's a 5-day cooling off that sometimes gets extended to 10 days. Normally this sort of process happens 2 weeks after offer accepted. You had a strata search ready to go, and the bank valuation was pretty quick. How did you do all that so quickly?
Yeah, that's right. Strata report, we sort of help the owner prepare that up front. So we take care of all the admin side of it. The owner just says, "Yep, please go ahead." So I ordered that. Whilst the property was being painted. I'll just finish on that before we leave you. I'll just finish. How do you get the best price for your property? I'll come back to that in a sec. But we ordered that up front just to make sure there's no delay. Once you've got an offer accepted, people want to do a strata report, but they don't want to wait.
So you did it. So instead of then getting offer accepted, then ordering, and then waiting a week, you did this with the owner. You got the owner to order one prior to it even going on the market. That's clever.
Yeah, it just helps everyone out. And the buyer provided a 66W, which is a certificate that's basically waives the cooling off period. They were able to do that by having a really good solicitor on their side and sort of getting all their ducks in a row, which put their offer in a stronger position than maybe one of the other two or three, being that it was not requiring the cool off. They'd kind of actually done all their contract amendments before putting their offer in, just so they knew exactly what they were getting themselves in for if they were getting an offer accepted.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up, but you wanted to talk about getting the place ready. You did some, not only with that marketing, but you did some house prep, unit prep.
Yeah, absolutely. Like 3 pillars to achieving the best price here is price, and that's your pricing strategy. It's product, being the apartment itself, and then it's the promotion side of it, the marketing. So with regards to price, you need to get that price guide correct to get people in the door, start extracting offers, and that will uncover where market value is and above market value. Really important for your owner, because if you never get an offer, you're never going to know where market value is. The second thing, the actual product side of it, this was an apartment that was totally original. You see from the photos, kitchens was updated about 20 years ago. It's not the original kitchen, but it's certainly nothing flash. The hardwood floors were all original. The owner could have gone through and really spent 20, 30 grand on this, but it wouldn't have made a return on investment. And the way you've got to look at that when you get close to selling is like a 5x multiplier. If I'm spending $1, I've got to be making 5. That's where you're sort of at that critical stage of releasing the property. So they did a full paint all the way through, made it look light, made it look fresh, but it certainly didn't do an over-the-top reno. Didn't require any strata permission for that either. When you start pulling out kitchens and bathrooms, when you're at that close point of pulling the trigger on selling your property, you don't want to then start engaging strata to go through permissions of doing kitchens and bathrooms. It just becomes a really long, drawn-out process. And then the promotion side, this went straight on to realestate.com. It was in front of everyone. It was a lot of social media, a big letterbox drops, Freshwater community. Everyone in the street knew about it right from day one. So that 9 days is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of activity.
Billy, guys, if you're wondering why this man is the Mozart of real estate, he started real estate at Novak when he was 4 years of age. Billy Drury, congratulations, well done. And 20 years later, look at this guy fly. I'm hearing you talk this morning thinking for a person that's a bit over 20, Jesus, you know your stuff. And well done to you on this sale.
Thank you, Mark. Lace is just finished off with a really good comment there. Every one of these properties, they're like our favorite children. They all get treated the same way. And it's definitely the extra 1% that goes a long way. And I'll say that with your buyer service as well. At the end of the day, buyers just want to be looked after. They want to see the property when they're available, not when it suits the agent, and they just want to be sort of treated in a clear, concise way.
Billy, something's happened to you today, and I don't know what, but I like it. I think it's because you got a new car. Congratulations, well done on the sale.
Thank you. I hope that helps, someone considering buying or selling. Please give us a call. We do have a couple more properties coming on just like this.
You're on fire. Guys, have a beautiful Monday. Thanks, Bill.
See you later.